Hello and welcome back to the Basic Bee podcast. I'm your host and favorite SEO coach, Brittany Herzberg, and we are continuing on with the case study interviews because I just love them, frankly, and it gives me a chance to hang out and talk to some really amazing humans. So I have yet another one of our newest SEO Grow group coaching program alums here with us, Liz. Say hi, Liz.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course, I'm really excited that you're here and that you also went through the program. We were chit-chatting just before we started, and I have no clue what you're going to share.
That's okay. I don't either.
Nobody knows. So let's start at the very beginning. What inspired you or caught your attention or had you going, oh my goodness, SEO, this is a thing I should be paying attention to and maybe doing something about?
So for me, because I work on podcasts myself, I already talk a lot about podcast SEO. So I already know the importance of podcast SEO. And I don't put as much time into any of my own stuff. So when you brought up SEO and Grow, I was like, I don't know where my traffic's coming from. I don't know what content is landing. I don't know anything going on in like the back end of my own business stuff. So it was just important to kind of get an idea of where traffic is coming from so I can do more of that. Like, am I putting the right amount of effort into Instagram or should I be putting it more into blog posts, things like that? Totally clueless. So at least now I kind of have an idea of where traffic is starting to come from.
Yeah, so true. Tell us more about what you do in the world.
Well, I'm a podcast manager and launch specialist. So I just do all things podcasting.
Mhm.
So editing, launching, and then I also have like one-off services. So like I do audits where I go into the back end and do the podcast SEO portion because as we know, SEO is so important. So yeah, I just work on all things podcasting.
That is so perfect. This is actually a good follow-up question. When we got to that point, which happens at the very beginning, where I ask those three questions that I never let anyone get away with, the who do you help, how do you help them, what do you want to be known for? How did you feel navigating all of that?
So that is like a question that comes up often. And I was like, I don't know, Brittany. I don't know. Like, I just help people. So I really like to work with solopreneurs because I do work like just one-on-one with everybody because I like that contact with them.
Yeah.
And then I really like working with like female entrepreneurs because they're in like the same space I am.
Mhm.
Yes, my business is super important, but there's other things that come 1st. So like the kids and family and the house and all of these things. So they just kind of get it. So those are the kind of people that I like to work with. And then when you asked that question, I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to write this out.
I don't even remember exactly how you shared it, but whatever you shared, it was great.
Yeah, I don't remember what I said either. And I almost messaged you like, hey, do you still have that form? Like, can you just send me those answers I gave you? Because I don't even really remember what I said. But yeah, I prefer to work with like one-on-one people because having like direct access to somebody instead of going through like a team, it's just so much easier to work with people.
Yeah. No, it totally is. I'm actually going to look at your form because now I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't remember what I said to you.
Who, podcasters and those that want to launch a podcast, how I help them launch podcasts by walking them through each step, and I help existing podcasters to manage their podcast and grow them. And then what is the go-to person for launching and managing podcasts?
Yes. And I forgot about that piece. Like, I don't want to have to rely on social media.
Yeah.
I like social media to doom scroll.
Mhm.
And I like to post on like stories. I like to watch everybody's stories, but like to have to post like sales content, like I just personally hate it.
Yeah.
So I wanted a different avenue of like getting my name out there that was not just Instagram.
Yeah. So what's the content that you find appealing that you're like, I would like to do this because I know it's got more legs to it or whatever?
Yeah. So I email my list every week. So I definitely stay in contact with my email list. I am in the process of launching a podcast, which you know how it is, like our own stuff takes way longer to do.
So weird how that happens.
So weird how that happens. And then like writing blog posts. And it's funny because when we did that whole section in SEO and Grow, when you're talking about like optimizing your content and blog posts and stuff, I was like, oh, because I haven't just taken the time to like launch my own podcast yet, I was like, maybe I'll just do blogging for now. And I was like, but I like to talk. So maybe I'll talk into like my recording thing and then have it transcribed it. And I'm like, what are you doing? That's literally a podcast. That doesn't make sense.
You're like, okay, fine. I'll just do a podcast.
Right. I guess I'll just do a podcast. I just thought that was so funny.
Like, I get that though, because even me, I'm doing a really good job of having my blog posts, but they're podcast related blog posts. They're not just the topic blogs
Right.
that I just walked everyone through in the blogging workshop. So it's funny because I end up hosting a lot of these workshops or talking about certain topics, even in our coaching calls, which we will get to the program eventually. But I talk about these things and I have the best of intentions, but I'm forever putting client work above my own
Same,
stuff.
always.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I have an hour before I have to go do this. I could write a blog post or I can edit so-and-so's audio and be a week ahead on there. Let me do the audio instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do that all of the time.
Yeah, I actually have a different schedule now with my emails where I've got the one big one over the weekend. And then I've been doing a tip in that Sunday one. And I'm then taking that tip and turning that into like a Tuesday, Wednesday email. So that's then going to become the blog post because it's like so whittled down to like, this is the thing. And it's the practical, tactical. All right, let's get back to you, shall we? And the SEO things. So you were in this most recent round of SEO and Grow. We're actually recording this before we have our final call of the program. And every time I say that, I'm like, oh.
I know, it's sad.
So sad. I know. I don't know if I'm going to cry on the call or what. We'll find out.
Well, I guess we'll see.
We will see. But I'm curious. So you were like, okay, SEO, I need to get serious about it. If I do it this way, I can start with it on my website. Once you got in the program, how did that actually feel? My take on it, my fear is I worry that I'm going to like fire hose the information at people. But then I look at things and I'm like, no, I feel like I have it dripped out pretty good. But what's your experience of that like?
I would say it's dripped out pretty good because it is overwhelming. But I don't remember if it was like the first 2 weeks that we did like all that keyword research and we were writing like all of our SEO metadata and all of that. So that was like a good amount of time to kind of do all that research and figure out all the H1 headlines and the SEO, the metadata. I mean, I know how to do keyword research, but once we got into writing our H1 and our metadata, I realized I didn't really have any copy on my website at all. It was just like, here's my service page. I edit audio. Thanks. Like no keywords at all. So for me, it kind of really snowballed from having a few keywords in like those key places into realizing I really needed to redo everything so that when somebody did land on my stuff from a keyword, there was actually information there so that they would want to go further. Because nobody's just going to be like, oh, she edits audio. Cool. Let's hire her. Doesn't work that way.
Maybe back in the day, but now,
but not now.
It's a little more challenging because there's so many people who provide all these different services.
Yeah.
Did you feel like there was guidance or feedback? And I know that you and I went back and forth in like Google Docs and you were at just about, I think you were at like 99% of the calls, which was great. But did you feel like you were able to workshop that pretty easily with the copy?
Yeah, I think just having like a second set of eyes on it to kind of give clarity, because I would like do my keyword research and then I'd rate my like metadata and I'm like, does that make sense? So it was really nice to be able to tag you and be like, hey, Brittany, can you read this and tell me if this makes sense? And you're either like, yes, that's very clear, or like, no, let's do it this way. Here's another option. So yeah, that was very helpful to have a second set of eyes on it. And you made it super easy by using Google Docs. We could just tag each other every time we needed to leave a comment.
Yeah, I love running programs out of Google Docs because I'm so used to navigating it. So many other entrepreneurs are used to navigating it. And it does give you that space for like the feedback. And some people only want me to make comments, which is totally fine. Some people have like the editing thing enabled, but I can work with it either way. I can either leave like a really long comment or I can go and add like, here's an option that you could think about. And then I can like check the word count, character count, all of that stuff. Yeah, it does really help.
It does really help also from that because it also sends me an email because I would have read your comment and be like, oh, I need to respond to her later. And then I get busy and I totally forget. But if it's sitting in my email, I see it again. I'm like, oh, I got to go back. And so I leave your comments in my email until I've responded so that I don't forget. So it's nice using Google Docs for that reason because you also get an email.
Yeah, I do the same thing when all of you respond back to me. I leave it there and I treat my email as this like almost to-do list.
Same.
It's so good hearing that from someone else. You were actually part of the group where I moved the program into its new home called Member Vault. And I mean, I love, like I said, running things out of Google Docs, but I wanted a place to be able to put things, the videos, the resources, comments are enabled, all that kind of stuff. So how was that transition of like adding that new home for the things?
So I really like it because as much as I like working off a Google Doc, having it in there, I can actually see what I've done because I will like start a video and then I have to stop because I have to do something. And if I go back, I can see like, oh, I have half this video left or haven't watched these videos yet. So it's a nice way to see everything that I still need to do and what I've already done. So that was really nice.
Oh, that's good. And some of the videos I was able to record, the shorter ones. I still haven't done all of them. But for the short ones, like, did it feel like there was enough information in there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the ones that were longer, for anyone listening, the ones that are still in existence in there, at least for right now, hopefully not too much longer, that is like the whole lesson plus Q&A from a previous round of things. So did you find that even by watching those videos, even though they were longer and they included some other Q&A, were they still helpful?
They were helpful because sometimes somebody would ask a question that maybe hadn't been asked in like our coaching calls.
Yeah.
So yeah, that part was helpful to be able to kind of watch back what other people were asking. But then it was also nice to have the shorter version as well for when you're like short on time. So both versions were actually very helpful.
That's really good to hear. I definitely want to make the shorter ones though, because I know like just thinking about my own experience in programs, I'm like, sometimes I just need like the little nugget.
Yep.
Just tell me what I need to do.
Just tell me what I have to do.
Those are coming. I promise those are coming. And plus I kept tweaking some of the resources because I wanted to add a tab or make something like even more clear. And I think I'm one of those fidgeters that I'm just like never going to not try to make something better, but I can still go with like a new version of the video or a new version of the document. That's really good to hear. What did you like about coming to the coaching calls? Because I know that we had some hot seats for you, but I think there were some calls where you didn't have a hot seat.
Yeah, there were some that I didn't have anything I submitted, but it doesn't matter if I submitted something or I didn't submit something because those ones that asked questions, it was still super helpful to hear because maybe they were a little bit further ahead of myself than I was. So it was really nice to hear their questions. So I could be like, oh, I need that for later. File that nugget away kind of thing. So whether I had a question or I didn't have questions, I always learned something on those calls.
Oh, I love hearing that. I get this question a lot from people. Do you feel like someone could still get enough out of doing the program and not being at the calls live? Because you do get the replays.
Yeah, you do get the replays because I missed a couple calls because I was traveling. So I did go back and rewatch the calls that I missed. So I always got really good things. Oh, I missed the one where you guys were talking about like Google Analytics, Google Search Console, the SEO dashboard. So I went back, I watched that whole video that I missed, and then I bought the dashboard and I implemented everything. So even though I wasn't on the call, I was able to take what you guys talked about and do it myself. So that was nice.
Yeah. And one thing I definitely want to highlight, there's like so many moms in my world, which I love because that's goals for me. And seeing that SEO can help, especially mom business owners, is like a really, really important big thing that I want to highlight. You are a mom, you have a family, and you were still able to come to the calls and do all of the things. So could you just tell us a little bit about like what that experience is like? Because I can't relate.
Well, for me, my kids are older, so it does make a difference. It helps that my daughter, she's in nursing school, so her clinicals land on Wednesday. So she's gone all day. So that actually worked really well. But it was just important. It was important to me to carve out the time to show up. So no matter like what the kids had going on or what was going on, like with my husband, I'm like, from 12 to 1 is Brittany time. This is so I tell my calendar, Brittany time. So it was just important to me to make the time to show up so I could keep learning more. So that's really what it came down to, is it was my priority.
Yeah. And I do feel like that's the thing for all of us is like, what are we actually going to highlight as a priority, spend time on, actually put on the calendar and show up for it?
Right. Because I could have made excuses and be like, oh, I have to do this. But so it was just my priority that I wanted to make sure I was there.
That makes all the difference. It really does. And then as far as like how much time you spent maybe on average each week, do you have an idea of what that maybe looked like? And I know every week's different.
Yeah, every week is different because it was really I definitely put in more hours in the first few weeks as we were doing all that keyword research. So maybe 2 or 3 hours a week,
Okay.
like incorporating like the videos and doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the other extra things you had going on. So I'd probably say 2 to 3 hours a week, maybe.
Okay. Because your group fell over the holidays. So we did have, I think, 3 weeks because of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because we had Thanksgiving and Christmas in there,
Yeah. So there were built-in breaks in there.
which was actually really nice
Yeah.
because I could get caught up.
Exactly. That's where
Because
I was
maybe
going.
I showed up for all the coaching calls, but I didn't always have everything done.
Yeah.
So those breaks were nice.
Oh, I love hearing that. We're close to the end of the program. So I know that we haven't had all of that time for things to like land and work necessarily. But are there any things that you've seen like wins, whether that's just like how you're feeling about things and navigating things, or if that's an actual like statistic that you have?
Yeah. So I was late in implementing my like Google search console and my Google Analytics. Like most of them did it within like the first 3 or 4 weeks. I just did it like 2 weeks ago. But
It's okay.
now that data is slowly coming in, I was shocked that I'm ranking for certain blog posts. I
Oh,
had no idea. I didn't know like what pages on my website were ranking the best. So now being able to see like where people are landing when they come in has been really, really helpful. Because before I didn't have a clue, no clue.
yeah.
It was like you throw spaghetti at the wall, maybe something's sticking. I don't know. So now having like the SEO dashboard that you recommended,
Mhm.
it's so easy to just go in and be like, oh, people are landing on these pages. These blog posts are ranking for keywords already. So yeah, I'm already seeing that kind of thing. And then also just, I realize the lack of what's on my website. Like I was saying before, like the lack of copy. So I'm in the process of like moving my entire website over to Squarespace. Also, along with updating all the SEO, adding copy to my website, which I don't think I would have realized if I wasn't in the program,
Yeah.
honestly, because I can see that people are landing on my site, but they're not staying long because there's not enough information there, is
Yeah.
basically what it comes down to, which I wouldn't have known.
Yeah. And that's the part of things that we get into. Like I say that SEO, the way that this is structured, especially the program really puts a spotlight on it. It's front loaded. So you're putting in a lot more time and effort with the keyword research, with creating the strategies. And then maybe you notice the copy stuff. This is not the intention, but I've had several people each round either recognize the copy thing and they want to update or add more copy. And or they're like, oh, I actually want to move website hosts.
Yes.
And this is such a trend that keeps happening. So potentially extra tasks get added on, but it does seem like the people who join, it really seems to help everyone make different and better business decisions. That was what I was going to ask you earlier. So are you noticing SEO impacting things aside from just, oh, I feel like I have a website now that's going to actually work for me? Hold up. Did you just say you'll get to SEO next year? There is no way I heard that coming out of your mouth. Except that's exactly what I heard in my DMs this week, and I will not stand for it. If you wait a whole year to do SEO, you're literally giving up thousands of dollars, and I have receipts. When Leah implemented a new SEO strategy, she had 10 new leads discover her on Google in just 6 weeks. When Courtney implemented SEO on her site for the first time ever, she got consistent paying clients from Google while she was out sick, not posting on social media for 3 straight months. And when Ellie finally optimized her site for SEO, she had an 85% increase in traffic to her site the very same month. When people lean into the SEO and Grow method, they, grow their businesses often faster than they thought possible. You've heard me say it 1,000 times. SEO does not have to be complicated or costly or confusing. There are basic things you need to learn about and actually do, and best practices you need to follow. And I have bundled everything you need to succeed with SEO into the SEO Basics course, which you can get for $10 off when you use code podcast10. Don't overthink this. It's time you get discovered with ease. Go to BrittanyHerzberg.com and go over to the SEO shop, or you can click the link below to grab the SEO Basics course and use code podcast10 for $10 off your purchase.
So because I implemented my SEO, like my Google console and all that stuff so late. The most I'm seeing right now is pages starting to rank, blog posts starting to rank. I'm getting traffic from places I didn't even know about.
Hmm.
So that's been interesting. And then where to put my time. I don't need to put as much time into Instagram because I'm ranking for more blog stuff than I am on Instagram kind of thing. But I get a ton of clicks over from Instagram. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's just been interesting seeing where that traffic's coming from. Like I get traffic from Facebook. I'm not even on Facebook.
Yeah.
So it's just very interesting to see where things are coming from.
Yeah, that is one thing that you and I both realized during the program that was happening for you and was happening for me. We're like, why is Facebook on here?
Right.
And what I realize is that people are linking to us. So we don't have profiles over there. We're not spending time over there, but there are other people who are there who are like, oh, you need to go talk to Liz. So that is still giving you information, just different information than other people might be aware of or might be getting for their websites.
Which is crazy.
It's absolutely so wild. So I am so excited. You are continuing on in Maintain, which is the monthly membership that I have for anyone who's done for you SEO with me or anyone who's been through SEO and Grow with me. And so that we're able to run our reports, review the metrics and the data together, and then create an aligned marketing plan for that month and really take a slow but steady action on our SEO, which is the entire reason we do the whole big setup in the beginning so that can go off and run. And then we can do other things, tiny tweaks throughout the months, throughout the years. So is there anything that you're looking forward to next?
Yeah. So since I'm in the process of changing from Go High Level to Squarespace,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Maintain is going to be a godsend because I have to move everything over. And for each month, it's like looking for broken links and
Yeah.
things like that, which I know I'm going to have once I start moving my website over. So I'm like, Maintain is just going to be like my lifeline and getting all of this done correctly because it's going to be more simple. Like Go High Level is very complicated and involved and things are constantly
Oh.
breaking over there. So just having like Squarespace and moving everything over and having
Mm-hmm.
Maintain in my back pocket, like, hey, Brittany, this is broken. What do I do? How do I fix this? Is going to be
Yeah.
really, really helpful. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
our Telegram is pretty active, I would say, for like the SEO and Grow. I'm really sad that's ending. So I was like, I need to go to Maintain just to be with these people.
Yeah. And it's funny because like every group has been a little bit different with SEO and Grow. And then even funneling people into Maintain and having that group, which is now like a mashup of a few different cohorts. The chat is still a little bit more quiet over there,
Mhm.
but it's still there and you still have
Right.
people, which is nice.
You still have those people there. They're just there all day sitting
Kind of,
on my screen.
right? It kind of makes you feel like you're a part of something, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, like all the SEO stuff is really helpful and I love it. But then you also have that community, which has
Yeah.
been really, really nice to have.
That makes me so happy. That's probably like slightly after helping people with their SEO, like being able to connect people just makes me so
Yeah.
happy.
I know, same.
Ridiculously happy. What would you say to anyone who's out there who's potentially listening to this, who's like, I'm kind of interested in SEO now that you've said some things about it, but it still feels like out there, like a confusing thing? Any words of advice?
Yeah. So you make it very, very easy to understand. So the way you have kind of like structured the program,
Mhm.
it's like building blocks. So you learn this skill before you build on the next one. So it really was very easy to implement everything because that's the hard part. Like once you go through everything, you actually have to implement it.
Mhm.
So you had time like built in for us to implement everything that we've learned. Because I've done programs before where it's like, here's the work, and then the implementation never gets done.
Mhm.
So having that time built in to implement everything after we've learned it, you've just made it really easy to do so.
I want to have the audits for people so that they can come in and like actually kind of have an understanding of what we're dealing with before they get into the weeds in the back end of their websites. But what I was noticing before I had SEO Grow is that I would give people the audits and they would be like, great, thanks, this is amazing. And they wouldn't do anything. But you're smiling.
I am smiling
Tell me more.
because you did that to me. Actually, when SEO and Grow was just opening, you sent me like a mini
Mhm.
audit, like on a video. And you were like, did you know you had 20 H1s? And I was like, what? Like, how is that even possible? Because I didn't realize like when you bought like a template that the designers don't know. So every page had like 15 or 20 H1s. And I was like, what in the world? Like, first of all, how did you even know? So I'm like looking at this, I was like, I had no idea. Like my design template was so off that I was competing and having so many H1s. Like I had no idea until you did that mini audit for me. And then I didn't do anything with it. Like I had the information, like you told me everything that was wrong with it, but it took me coming into SEO and Grow and doing the entire process to actually fix all of those H1s and implement the stuff. So
yeah,
the two things combined really work well together.
I'm so glad. Yeah, I kind of have the two camps. Either people see it and they're like, oh, that's great, thanks. And it sits there.
Yeah.
Or I have people who are like, that's great, thanks. And then they do plug it in and they get to see. I've had some people where their traffic has increased, where they've gotten inquiries, where they've had sales made, even just within a couple of weeks, just by plugging in like a pretty basic SEO strategy. And it really does go to show you that even having something that feels basic and maybe too simple does work if you're starting from those three answers of who do you help, how do you help them, what do you want to be known for?
Yeah, because that really helped with my keyword research, all of that stuff. Just those three questions.
You felt like that?
Yeah.
I feel like I'd say that, but hearing it from someone else is like, oh, that really does. Because I haven't seen another SEO person break it down quite like that. Maybe they do. Maybe it's like behind the paywall or something, but I'm pretty vocal about that.
Yeah, because like if I don't know who I'm helping, how do I add those keywords into my content?
Yeah.
Even my metadata, like helping female podcasters launch a podcast, let's say. So female podcasters is a keyword, launch a podcast. If I don't have those keywords, and if I don't know who I'm helping, how do I put those even together? So
yeah,
building blocks.
Building blocks. That is so perfect. Yeah. Awesome. I definitely want to connect you with people who are listening. So if anyone is looking for another amazing podcast producer and one who loves launching things, where can they find you? Where can they connect with you? And do you have anything coming up?
Since I'm redoing my website, I'm also redoing all my free resources. So everything is under construction at the moment, but you can find me at lizchapmanco.com and then on Instagram at Liz_Chapman_podcast manager.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah. Thanks for asking me to come on.
Of course. The next round of SEO and Grow starts March 4th. If you're interested in joining us, it's probably not too late. Check the link below. And if you have any questions, of course, you can DM me on Instagram. I'm Brittany_Herzberg, but there will be a link. Don't worry, you don't have to spell any of it out. But thank you so much for joining us, for tuning in, and I'll have all of the links below. As always, remember, I'm cheering you on your SEO journey. You've heard me talk about it, but how exactly does social proof support SEO? Well, your clients are kind of freaking brilliant because when they share what it's like to work with you or what they were able to achieve or accomplish with your help, they use words that other people are searching for. For real, they'll say things like, I walk away with practical tips to apply SEO to my own business, or all online business owners need to know about your SEO course, or Brittany helps me understand SEO in a real and tangible way. You know what's coming next, right? I need your help to get the Basic Bee podcast reaching more of the right ear holes. When you follow, rate, review, and share the show, that helps me help more entrepreneurs discover and lean into the magic of SEO. As a little extra incentive to write a review, once a month, I'll be selecting one podcast reviewer to receive a free mini SEO audit. You'll help me get discovered, and I'll do the same for you. Check the description for more info.